So with the blessings of Srila Prabhupada and my own spiritual master, we start this particular course. We've already got the blessings and the grace of His Grace Kanai Krishna Prabhu. And I would be your teacher for this particular unit, that is the Sri Ishopanishad. And I'll try my level best to impart that same knowledge that I have received from my spiritual masters and seniors. So this particular unit that we will be actually doing is Sri Ishopanishad. It will be going in a very, wonderful way that we will be going through the introduction and right from page number 1 of the book. Now, in case if anybody does not have the book, we have the vedabase.io, and on that it will be easily available, the book. So while you are actually doing this particular course, I request everybody to have 2 books with you all. One is your notebook where you're going to actually put down the notes. And second is the Sri Ishopanishad book. In case you do not have the Sri Ishopanishad book, then you can go online, vedabase.io, and there you will have the, all books. When you click on, then you will get the Sri Ishopanishad book. Okay. Okay. So to start with, we'll be starting with the introduction part of the Sri Ishopanishad. So, in the Ishopanishad, the introduction part, where it says that what are the Vedas? Vedas means actually knowledge. And that knowledge that brings one nearer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. And these Vedas are actually without any deficiency. So any knowledge that we are accepting, should be based on the Vedas or the original teachings of the Vedas. We have a lot of knowledge around the world. Okay, we have the television knowledge, we have the internet knowledge, we have the Facebook knowledge. So any knowledge should be based on 3 things: Guru, Sadhu, and Shastras. And in our conditioned state, we are not able to, understand, a lot of knowledge. But once we understand that we are, going to take a particular knowledge, then it has to be based on Shastras. So we are in a conditioned state at the moment, and there is a liberated state also. In the conditioned state, we have 4 defects. And what are those 4 defects? The first defect is that we actually tend to make mistakes. For example, in our daily life also, we're making so many mistakes. So to make mistakes or to err is human. And this is one of the, defects that a human being has, that we all know that we make mistakes. Very minor mistakes, unknowing mistakes also we make. Another defect that, we have is that we are, we have the tendency to be illusioned. Illusion means to accept something. Everybody please mute yourselves. Illusion means you are accepting something which is not, there. That is Maya. So we are accepting this body as the self. We're thinking that, okay, I am this body. Okay, we are not saying that I am the soul. So currently we are on the Dehatmika Buddhi. We are on the platform of the body. And if we ask somebody, okay, who are you? He'll say, okay, I am an Indian, or I'm an American, or I am, Mrs. So-and-so. So all these bodily identifications that we are having, and that we are not this body, that is an illusion. We're thinking that we are this body. That is the biggest illusion that we are having. So the third defect that we have is actually the cheating propensity. We have this tendency of cheating. So cheating means everybody has this propensity of cheating others. So we actually on a daily basis also, we cheat ourselves. How do we cheat ourselves? We cheat ourselves with time. We cheat ourselves that, okay, it is okay to do certain things. It is okay to break the regulative principles. It is okay to not chant in the morning. It is okay to not read scriptures. It is okay to, so sometimes what we do is we pose ourselves that, okay, I'm very intelligent, I know the Shastras, and, you know, we are in an illusion that we know everything from the Shastras, and we try to, make, when we are presenting also a particular subject matter, we might, make mistakes, we might cheat also that other person, and we might cheat in such a way that we don't know something, but we say that, oh, I think, it should be like that, or it is this, or it might be this. And we, in this, process of this cheating our own selves and cheating others also, what we are doing is we do not know that my original constitutional position is that I am the servant of Krishna. There are many people who are writing very big books and big theologies and big philosophies and all, but they have this particular defect that they do not know that I am a soul and I belong to the Lord. My original Swarupa is that I am the servant of Lord Shri Krishna. And this particular disease that we have is actually cheating propensity. And lastly, our senses are imperfect. So if you see in this diagram, there are 6 people. We know this story about this elephant. Somebody is actually trying to, speculate that, the elephant might be, a pillar, or the elephant's trunk might be like a snake or something like that. So our senses are imperfect means what? Beyond a particular wall, I'm not able to see what is behind that wall. Currently, I'm staying near the temple. There is a bell ringing near the temple. Why? Because the lecture has got over, the Bhagavatam classes got over. People are ringing the bell, but I'm not able to hear that particular bell, or I'm not able to smell something what is being cooked in my neighbor's house. So, that is why we have imperfect senses. Now, with these imperfect senses, how are we supposed to see the Lord? And Srila Prabhupada, one day somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, okay, can you show me God? Srila Prabhupada said, yes, I can show you God, but do you have the eyes to see God? And for that, we need, the purification of our soul. As in Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochane, Santa Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilyokayanti, Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Gunatva Rupam, Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochana. Prem ka anjan, the eyes ointed with, prema. With those eyes, we will be able to see Krishna. And our senses are so imperfect that even, if there is little dark in any area or somewhere, we are not even able to see our own hands. So that with these imperfect senses, how are we to see? So you can see the Lord, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, in the first shloka of the 7th chapter, it says, Tat Shrunu, please hear from me. So our process of seeing Krishna is actually through the ears. We are seeing Krishna through our ears, and because we do not have the power to see with our eyes, but when we are hearing the glories of the Lord, we are seeing Krishna through our ears. And that is why we cannot expect, knowledge with imperfect senses, because with so many deficiencies we have, in our this conditioned life, we cannot give any perfect knowledge also to anyone, not even to our own selves. And that is why, what with this imperfect, condition of life, then what should we do? The next question will be, then we have to accept the Vedas. But somebody might think that, okay, what is my only, constitutional position? I am a Hindu. But actually, we are not Hindus. Our real identification is that, is Varnashrama Dharma. And Varnashrama, those who are actually following the Varnashrama Dharma, we are following the Vedas. So Varnashrama has actually, 8 divisions, Varna and Ashram. So when we say actually Ashram, then you say when we say the Varnas, we say that we are Brahmins, Vaishyas, Shudras or Kshatriyas. So if you see, when a particular person is a Brahmana, his emphasis will be more on empowerment of the society. So he is actually the intelligent class. He's trying to impart knowledge to the others. And then, the Vaishyas, this is the mercantile group. This particular group this particular Vaishya particular group, they are also serving the society. The Kshatriyas are also again empowering, and the Shudras are again. So the Shudras and Vaishyas are serving, the society, and the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are empowering the society. So the emphasis more is on the Kshatriyas are physical strength, and the Brahmanas are more with the intellectual strength, like. And when when these are all actually natural classifications of any society, and we go by this particular classification, and this is the Vedic principle that we accept. And so if you see the Vedic principles, they are actually Aparushya, we accept it on axiomatic truths, and we accept it in parampara. So what is Aparushya? Aparushya is that these Vedas are not compiled by any mortal being who is subject to these 4 defects that we saw. The Vedas are compiled by the Supreme Personality of Lord Himself. And then we say that the Vedas, the Vedic principles are accepted as axiomatic truth. Means what? There cannot be any mistake in, the Vedic truth. Like, or they are accepted as they are without any interpretation. That will really save time. Instead of me going and speculating, okay, who is Krishna and how is he the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Who is the Supreme Lord? And why should I worship the Supreme Lord? Then these things, instead of doing all trial and error methods, it is better to accept the Vedas, and that will actually save a lot of our also time. And the Vedic knowledge was first imparted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Parampara system, where Krishna, says that Evam Parampara Praptam. In a very second shloka of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, this particular knowledge has to be gained in Parampara. And this particular knowledge, when gained in parampara, then it is come through the disciplic succession. So if you see, our Vedic knowledge is divided into 2 parts. One is the Shrutis and the other is the Smritis. So the Shruti is actually considered like our mother. Shruti is like, revealed absolute knowledge, and every word that of the Shruti is actually eternal. It is not temporary. So the Shrutis are also divided into, the Vedas, Upavedas, Vedangas, and under the Vedas also we have the Samhitas, the Brahmana, the Arangyas, the Upanishads and all. So this particular chart, I won't go into much detail. And then we have the Smritis also, where in the Smritis we have the Puranas, the Itihasas, the Pancharatras and all. And to more go into detail, then, we have all the other Nyayas also, the Mimamsa Nyaya, the Nyayas, the Vaisheshikas, the Yoga, the Sankhyas and all. Like. So, coming to the Shrutis, the Shruti Prasthana is that scripture that they do not have an author but are learnt by hearing. In the previous time, people we used to say that he is a Shruti Dhar. Shruti Dhar means what? That only by hearing once, that person was able to grasp that particular knowledge. So, in a Gurukul, when the children used to go, when they were small, so these children, what they used to do is, they used to just hear from the spiritual master and it was absorbed. It was later when, in at the end of Dwapar Yoga, Srila Vyasdev thought that, okay, in Kali Yuga, people will be very, short memory and everything. That's why he actually wrote all the, scriptures, and he wrote the Mahabharata, he wrote the Puranas, and he wrote the Upanishads and all like that. So, Shruti is that particular knowledge where we actually hear and we grasp it. So you cannot make any experiments with Shruti. Shruti is like our mother, and only the mother can tell who your father is. And if I want to know, I cannot experiment. If I want to know who my father is, I immediately go and ask my mother, okay, mama, who's my father? And my mother will point out, okay, he is your father. So if we want to know something beyond our experience or beyond our experimental knowledge, and beyond this, these imperfect senses, then we have to accept the Vedas. We cannot experiment with that, okay, I will experiment and then I'll come to a particular conclusion. So there is no other way other than actually accepting the Vedas. And even Brahma, who is the, who is called the grandfather, or you can say the forefather, he also has given us this particular, Vedic knowledge, because this Vedic knowledge was first given to Brahma by Lord Krishna himself only. He received this knowledge where in the Srimad Bhagavatam, they say that Tene Brahma Rida Adi Kavaye. So the Brahma received this knowledge through actually, from the heart of Krishna, the heart of Brahma. Then you have the Smriti Prasthan, scriptures that were written in accordance with the Shrutis, like the Puranas and the Mahabharata. And then you have the Nyaya Prasthana, scriptures that present logic. So now Vyasadev, to harmonize these statements of the Upanishads, he wrote the Vedanta Sutras. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam is actually the whole commentary to this particular Vedanta Sutra. And to know this particular knowledge, then, you have this, but you have all these pramanas. There are three kinds of, evidences for this particular pramana. You have the Pratyaksha Praman, you have the Anuman Praman, and you have the Shabda Praman. So Pratyaksha Praman is giving you actually a direct evidence of knowledge, where you are actually gathering this knowledge through your five senses. And direct knowledge is not so much good, you can say, or it is not very perfect, because sometimes you are seeing something and it turns out to be something. Like in a desert, when you see the mirage, you think that there is water over there, but as you go closer, you will see that, it is not water, it is just sand, but it was just shining like, water. And that's why it is not reliable, because of our imperfect senses. So then you have the Anuman Praman, that, Anuman means you're just, trying to guess something. Okay, it may be like this, or it may be like that. Or, you might think it with your logical reasoning. And it might be just theory, but that theory might not be a very perfect theory. So Anuman Praman is actually like a inductive knowledge. And this Anuman Praman will be just, based on guesswork, and which is not even perfect. And if you receive knowledge through the authoritative sources, then that is perfect knowledge. And that's where actually Shabda Praman comes into picture, where you have knowledge hearing sources, and you're hearing the knowledge either through the Shrutis or the Vedas. And then there is no experiment. You don't have to make experiment with the Shrutis or the Vedas. You receive it through the authoritative sources. So now this particular Vedic knowledge is called Shabda Praman, or you can say Shruti also. And this particular, this knowledge that is there, it is not actually from this particular material world. It is transcendental knowledge, which is coming from a very different realm. And we can even go, to the end of the universe, and we can actually go to the spiritual world and acquire this knowledge of, this full knowledge. It is, not very much possible. So this particular knowledge is possible only by the grace of the Lord. And that's where Shabda Praman comes into knowledge. For Shabda Praman, we need the grace of the spiritual master, we need the grace of the Vaishnavas, we need the grace of the other sadhus also. So there are two types of acquiring knowledge. One is the Aroha Panth and one is the Avroha Panth. One is the inductive process, one is the deductive process. Aroha Panth means knowledge, is gained through the imperfect senses, and the Avroha Panth is actually you're hearing it from a bona fide source, either through the spiritual master or through this bona fide scriptures as such. And when we are actually taking this particular knowledge by hearing from a bona fide source, even Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says that we have to learn this knowledge from a bona fide spiritual master, where he says that tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master and inquire from him submissively. So even Brahma, as I previously told also, that he also received this knowledge from the bona fide source. And in the spiritual sky, actually, when we see that, the planets and inhabitants, they're eternal. And for this particular knowledge, that we have to take the help of the Vedas. And this particular knowledge is called the Vedic knowledge. So when we have this particular, when we're actually in the Krishna conscious movement, we are accepting this knowledge as the highest. Why? Because we accept Krishna as the highest authority. We accept Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. But somebody might say that the Vedas were, created some trillion years ago. So then how can we understand God, that who is the, creator, maintainer of many such universes beyond this, gigantic manifestation? So how can even a small ant, even I'm a very small soul, I can know the affairs of this particular world? This is the ground reality, that so small, and with my limited ability to learn on my own, how is it possible that I know these Vedas? And we cannot do some research and all. So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is mentioning the process of acquiring knowledge is actually through a bona fide spiritual master. Tasmad gurum prapadyate jigyasu shriya uttama shabde pare cha nisnatam brahmanya upamashriyam. So Guru is one who actually knows all the Vedic conclusions. So any person who seriously is desiring for real happiness, he must seek a spiritual master by taking initiation from him. And this particular qualified Guru, he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures, and by his own deliberation, he is able to convince even others of this particular conclusion. And that is why we need to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. So, Krishna is the all-pervading, in this particular universe. Krishna has a beginning. He has no beginning, no middle, and no end. So we will have, we are born on a particular date, and we leave this particular mortal world on a particular date. But Krishna does not have any beginning or an end in this particular universe. So then the question comes that, okay, the statement of the Brahma Samhita is that Krishna does not have a middle, and a beginning or an end. Then how am I to actually, know Krishna by, because I cannot know Krishna with even the speed of mind. Now my mind, if I say sitting over here, I can go and reach even America. Okay, what is my younger sister doing over there? Or what is my cousin doing over there? But even if you travel with the speed of mind for millions of years, you will find that this particular spiritual sky will be unlimited. And we are not able to even approach that. And that is why we have to actually approach the Vedic injunctions. The word, must approach the Vedic injunctions is actually compulsory. That only a bona fide spiritual master, and this bona fide spiritual master will be able to connect us to the right source. And this Upanishad that is there, if you see the Ishopanishad that is there, is the last chapter of the Shukla Yajur Veda. And and the original Vedas were divided into four by Srila Vyasdev. He divided it into Rig Ved, Samaved, Atharvaved, and Yajurved. And these particular Vedas are actually glorifying different personalities in these four Vedas as such. So there are the divisions of the Vedas. So Vyasadev first divided one Veda into four Vedas, that is Rig Veda, Yajurved, Atharvaved, and Samaved. Then then the fifth Veda came up, where he had the Puranas and the Itihasas. And then came the Bhagavad Gita. He wrote the Mahabharata, which actually contains the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is part of the Mahabharata. And then when Vyasadeva was very despondent, he was very much morose. When he wrote all these Vedas and Itihasas and Puranas, he was very despondent. Then, because he was very despondent, then somebody had to come and help him. So who came to help him? His spiritual master came to help him. Srila Narad Muni, he came to help him. And he said that you have written so many Vedas, Puranas, and Itihasas, but you have not glorified, you have not sufficiently glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead in those, scriptures. Now you write such a scripture which will only glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees. And that's where Srila Vyasadeva wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. And this Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary to the Vedanta Sutras. So if you see in the if you see in the other Sampradayas, in the Sri Sampradaya or the Rudra Sampradaya or other Sampradayas, they have written, the Vedanta Sutra commentaries. But in the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, nobody had written the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra till the time where Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, he wrote the commentary on the, Vedanta Sutra. So, so the original compiler of the Vedanta Sutra is Srila Vyasadeva, who was written the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. And then the summary of the Vedas into the concise Vedanta Sutra then was written previously by, all the other Sampradayas also. So our Vedanta philosophy or Vedanta Sutra was written by Baldev Vidyabhushan, called the Govind Bhashya. And that's where, the Srimad Bhagavatam's first verse only begins with the Vedanta Sutra, where it says that Janmadi Asya Yata, which is actually fully explained that, what is Brahman? He is the absolute truth, and from whom everything is emanating. And everything in this particular thing, in this particular material universe, is emanating from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this particular thing is very well explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So when you all will be doing the Bhakti Web of course, in a detail, you all will be actually understanding this particular Vedanta Sutra commentary that Srila Vyasadeva has written. So then why did Vyasadeva actually write this Vedanta Sutra commentary? So he says actually in the very onset, in the very first chapter, he says that Because the Kali Yuga people are manda, lazy, sumanda mata, they are misguided. Manda bhagya, they are very unlucky also. उनका भाग्य बहुत ही unlucky है. And upadrita, above all they are disturbed, they are confused. And that's why Srila Vyasadeva wrote this particular commentary. And he knew that if I do not put it down, or if I do not write it down, the Kali Yuga people will not be able to take advantage of the Vedanta Sutra commentary. So somebody might ask that what is the Upanishad? Upa means near, and Upanishadi means bringing. So it is, Upanishad is that scripture which is actually bringing us or a person close to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now we have the Vedas, we have the Upanishads, and we have the Ishopanishads also. So the Vedas are a gradual elevation from sense enjoyment to a transcendental life. And Upanishad is giving us a chance for, self-realization. And Ishopanishad, is a prayer that it is a prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where we are trying to establish our lost relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even in the Upanishad, there are so many Upanishads, out of which 11 are very much prominent enough. So they are saying that, somebody might ask, okay, people see this particular information I'm giving. Why? Because as preachers, somebody might ask that, oh, Vedas are mythology, So this is actually, they're dishonoring the Vedas for their own political purpose. So initially, if you see, the whole world was called as Bharatvarsh, named after the son of Rishabdev. And then slowly, Bharat became India. And then, it became, the Indians, because from Pakistan to, China, that whole thing, it was called the Indus Valley Civilization. And that's why it became, India. So somebody might ask that, what is the version of history? Is it real or is it fake? So history is not fake. If you see, in the previous thing, the Aryan invasions, they're saying that Vedas are only 3,500 years old. It is denying the Bharat's predominant culture, but gives credit to Bharat culture to invaders from Europe who came and invaded, the Bharat Desh. And if Vedas are accepted as truth, then everything spoken in the Bible will be put into question then. And according to this biblical time frame, the world was created only 6,000 years old. So then, somebody is asking that, okay, this is the Aryan invasion theory. But is there any proof that the Indian civilization had Vedas before the so-called Aryans arrived 3,005 years, 100 years ago? So then we have this particular history where we have the, River Saraswati, Indus Valley Civilization, Bharatvarsh. Why would the country be named as Bharat after fictitious character? And then why Sanskrit, which is the mother of all the languages, be used for computing programs. So now we have enough proofs to tell people that even the archaeologists who were there and the archaeologists who have actually discovered Dwarka city, which was actually lost and which was submerged by Shri Krishna 5,000 years ago. We are actually finding that, okay, this particular pillar was 5,000 years ago, and this is definitely there was a city which was actually constructed over here 5,000 years ago. So now we are able to give that particular information to everybody. So, are Vedas mythological? So what kind of aborigines were, those people? So then it is describing what, if Vedas were mythology, what kind of aborigines were they? So then which is describing the universe, describing the soul and God. Scientists have also actually proved that if Krishna is Hindu, Aboriginal God, then why did scientists study his Bhagavad Gita? And then, the original knowledge, then why was it given by God? So this particular knowledge has been preserved from generations together into disciplic succession. Then why all this is been, given to us? So then again, Sanskrit being the mother of languages, you have diverse knowledge, the description, child in the womb. All these detailed things are there in the Vedic scriptures. The child in the womb, this is so much of a detail. This is there in the third canto of the Bhagavatam, or even the divisions of time detailed in the second canto of the Bhagavatam. So then that's why, if we see that the goal of Vedic study, after knowing all this, our Vedas, mythology, what is the proof? So if we study the Vedic, injunctions, or we study the Vedas, we come to know that Krishna is the compiler and knower of the Vedas. Sarvashichamridi sanvishto matta smitir jnana apohanam cha vedeshcha sarver aham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham. This is the 15th shloka of the 15th chapter, where Krishna is the highest authority and the supreme personality of Godhead. And even who else is accepting him as the supreme person? Great people like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vishnu Swami, and even Shankaracharya has also accepted Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead into his commentaries, where he says that Krishna is the supreme personality. And in one of his songs also, Shankaracharya says that Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda Mooda Mate. And the Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna, is actually a transcendental knowledge, and we should accept the words of the supreme personality of Godhead. So now if we see Ishopanishad, it is the last chapter of the Shukla Yajurveda, as I previously mentioned. And the similarity between the Bhagavad Gita and Ishopanishad is what? It is clearly defining 5 tattvas or 5 truths. We have 5 subject matters of Bhagavad Gita. We have Ishvara, we have time, Ishvara or God, we have time, we have nature, we have karma or work, and we have jiva. And these truths are also being, given into the, Bhagavad Gita also and Upanishad also. So all these truths are covered in the Ishopanishad also and the Bhagavad Gita. So living in harmony with Lord, the spiritual vision, what is Vidya and Avidya, Aparavidya and Paravidya, Sambhuti, Asambhuti, praise to the Lord. All this is covered even in the Bhagavad Gita itself and Ishopanishad itself. And that's why in the very first, slide that I showed, that this Ishopanishad that is there, it is actually bringing us more nearer to the supreme personality of Godhead. It will get you closer to the supreme, because the moment we know the glory of the supreme personality of Godhead, we will be immediately able to appreciate the supreme personality of Godhead. And that's why did I choose this book as the very first book? Is because even the VIHE and the MIHE, this is the first book that they also pick up in their course books. And this is going to set us the scene for accepting the other books also and appreciate the other books also. So with this particular thing, I would like to halt over here. And if there are any queries or questions, I would be more than happy to answer them.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So you told about the 5 factors in Bhagavad Gita, right? The 5 element,
Yes.
which we talk more about. The jiva and the time, right?
Yes.
And jiva, time, the nature, prakriti, and what else?
The Ishvara,
Ishwara. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be sharing with these PPTs
Okay.
with everybody.
Sure.
So don't worry. Even if you'll have missed, I'll be sharing the recordings also, Prabhu. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Kalyani Mataji, you have your hand raised.
Yes, Mataji, I had a question that you said that Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So what do you means what does it mean by natural commentary?
So when we say the Vedanta Sutras, we say that everything that is there in all the other Upanishads and Puranas and Vedas, that all is present in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So whatever is there in the Upanishads or the Puranas or the Rig Ved, Samaved, Yajurved, that everything is present in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself. So these are the two books, the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. These are the two books enough for us to study in this particular lifetime. To go into deep details. So even you must have heard in the previous lectures also of different devotees that every time you read the Bhagavad Gita, you'll have a new realization or a new information that, oh, I didn't know this. You will have a new, new information you are gaining. That, okay, I did read the Bhagavad Gita 10 times, but this 11th time I'm reading the same shloka, but I'm getting a newer realization with this particular shloka. Okay, Kalyani Madai, does it answer your question?
Yes, Mataji, I did not understand about the natural commentary. Means are
Yeah, it
there
is a
types of
natural commentary
commentary?
means what? It is coming straight from the heart of the of Srila Vyasadeva. There is nothing concocted or mixed. There is no karma yoga. There is no jnana yoga in this. There is only pure bhakti yoga in it. And that is why it is called the natural commentary.
Yes, Mataji, understood.
Yeah. Anybody else has any other queries on this topic?
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Mataji, this Shabda Pramana means both the hearing and reading, Mataji, from scriptures.
Yes. Hearing and reading. Shabda Praman means you're hearing from a bona fide spiritual master and you are reading also from a bona fide scripture.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Anybody else has any query?
So Mataji, like you talk about four defects in the like what the human being is having, right?
Yes.
So four defects. So even these defects are found in even like how we can miss the defects are in all kind of the entities or the only in the human being or even the human being who are the great exalted devotee, so they also have this kind of the defect, or the like how it is like is a defect only with a or like because this is something it's found in all like or how it is like it works like.
So this defect will be found in not in the pure devotees, because the pure devotee's vision is completely spiritualized. And when a pure devotee's vision is completely spiritualized, he sees everything in relation to the Lord. He sees everything connected to the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita also he says that, he sees in a stone also God, and he sees in a, dog also God. So these four defects will not be there in the pure devotees, but those who are not pure devotees or those who are other living entities also, they will have these pure defects. The pure devotees will not have these four defects. Okay, Prabhu?
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Got it.
Anybody else has any query, a question or comment or your realizations you want to share?
Mataji, you said aborigines. So what does that mean?
Aborigine means, those who are, who are बहुत पहले के काल में जो रह रहे थे, who had no, what you say, they did not have the knowledge about the Vedas, or they did not have any direction of life. Anybody else has any queries? Okay. So if nobody has any queries, and I would like to make some announcements as such. So how will the course go on? So we have 18 shlokas in the Ishopanishad. These 18 shlokas will consist of the first unit of your Bhakti Shastri course. From the next class onwards, what I would be doing is I would be reciting 9 shlokas in the beginning of the class, so that you all get used to reciting those Sanskrit shlokas. Because most of the shlokas will be there in your shloka test. So what will happen? For 5 minutes, we are, every time practicing those shlokas. So by the time you are coming to give the shloka test, you are also have by-hearted. So you don't have to give exclusive time for reciting those shlokas or memorizing those shlokas or by-hearting those shlokas. The shlokas are already by-hearted by you in the class itself. This is one thing. Secondly is that there will be an open book assessment on this whole book, Shri Ishopanishad. There will be actually, I think, 2 essays or comprehensions you will write. Need not worry about this. I will be helping you out in understanding that how to write these comprehensions or how to write these assessments based on your understanding of the book Shri Ishopanishad. And this comprehensions you will write at the end of the Ishopanishad book when we complete all the 18 texts. There will be a timeline, there will be a deadline being given to you all. We appreciate that you all give these assessments in those deadlines itself. There will be shloka recitation test also. There will be a CBA, closed book assessment also on this particular book, where if you see in your handbook, already the questions are given, right? And these questions, as and when you progress into these classes, and as and when you are, going through these mantras, for Ishopanishad, we have mantra 1, mantra 2, mantra 3, and all, like, that way. So you will be able to understand. Now, my humble request to all the students over here is that whenever you all come to the next class, please read what are we going to study before. I'll be announcing before only. Okay, next week we will be having the invocation and mantra 1. We'll be studying from the invocation 1, mantra 1, mantra 2. Pehle hi aap log, you all read and come, so that it is a clearer understanding of what maybe I'm explaining. Maybe you all might, while reading, you all might have doubts also. So you all will be able to, clear your doubts also while before reading also. So this is one thing. Okay, there are some questions from devotees over here. Mataji, how many mantras we have to memorize? That I'll be telling. Not all 18 mantras will be given to you all for memorizing. There will be only very few mantras, maybe 3 or 4 mantras you will be, reciting, not more than that. And yes, the handbook is shared in the group. You can just scroll up and see the handbook is shared in the group. If not, I will be resharing it again for you, Anshuman Prabhu, not a problem. Okay. Okay. So this is, these were the only questions by devotees. Okay. Another important announcement is that whenever you all are coming for the class, be very nicely prepared, in a very nice, good mood. 2 books you should be having with you. One is your notebook and one is your Ishopanishad book. If you don't have, I will give you the link. You can have that particular ready, maybe on another device or something like that. Anything else you all want to ask apart from whatever I have announced right now? Okay, you all are okay with it.
Mataji, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah. So how much attendance is mandatory?
How much attendance is mandatory? Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Did you get the attendance policy PDF? in the WhatsApp group. I have shared the attendance policy PDF. So 75% attendance is compulsory. In case you do not have that 75% attendance, you'll have to repeat it with another batch of mine or some other Prabhu or some other Mataji, where, because these are all rolling courses that we have. So immediately after finishing this Bhakti Shastri course, I'll be having another Bhakti Shastri course, another Bhakti Shastri course. This is my almost 5th batch of the Bhakti Shastri course as such. So this will be rolling courses. So then you can re-attend the whole Ishopanishad book in that particular course as such. Okay.
Hi Krishna Mataji, Danava Pranam.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, actually I want to tell you that on Saturdays, usually my Guru Maharaj gives Srimad Bhagavatam class, 8 to 9.
Okay.
Now I'm in Dharma Sankat,